So I've been in real estate for 18 years, and you just came and spoke to our team meeting for about 20 minutes and blew my mind with some of the stuff you were talking about. So I'd love for you just to share a little bit about what you do and your business.
Oh, oh, first of all, thanks for having me here. Yeah, I'm Russell Marsan, Senior Vice President with Investment Property Exchange Services. We're the largest intermediary in the nation. That's all we do is 1031s. I've been doing it for 28 years, so I'm your 1031 resource. The 1031 exchange is actually the greatest wealth building tool in the entire Internal Revenue Code because it allows real estate investors to reposition their assets right throughout the course of their entire life without having to pay taxes. Because I mean, if you think about it, you buy some real estate when you're young, and you're trying to get appreciation, right? You're trying to build your wealth, right? Everybody knows, hey, real estate's a great investment for that to build wealth. Well, you need to go after properties that are primarily based on appreciation, right? And but then later on in life, maybe you've been successful in investing in real estate. So now I own a bunch of rental properties. Well, now I want to retire, right? I don't want an appreciation type asset. Now I want a cash flow asset. Well, that's a different type of real estate. Or maybe I want to go passive because I've been managing my properties for 30 years, right? So now I'm tired of getting the phone calls from the tenants. And I'm in California, which is not a landlord friendly state, right? So now I'm tired of that and I want to sell and go into more of a cash flow position. That's a different kind of real estate. Or I want to go passive, right? That's a different type of real estate. So the 1031, as your objectives change, it allows you to pivot, right, to those different types of real estate without having to give up the tax. Because there's a lot of tax. If you sell California property, I mean, the average tax in California is like 35%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's giving up one third of your wealth every time you sell an asset. So the 1031, as your objectives change, allows you to pivot, right? Get rid of the asset you don't like anymore, and now exchange into a property that does meet your current financial objectives. And you don't have to give up the 35%. That's 35% of your income you're losing. That's 35% of the growth, an appreciation, that'll compound for the rest of your life that you're giving up. It'll be part of your estate, right? And there's a lot of different reasons why people do 1031s. I mean, the simplest one is, if I own raw land, right? If I inherited a piece of property 20 years ago, a piece of 4 acres, well, I have no cash flow on it. I can't depreciate it. So it's a negative cash flow vehicle. I can 1031 exchange raw land into improved property, like a rental property, right? So if anybody owns raw land and they're just sitting on it because it's not costing them anything, right? Well, it is costing you a lot of opportunity cost because you have no income coming off of that equity that you have in the property, right? You can exchange that into improved property. It's all like kind. And that's one of the greatest misconceptions of 1031.
I was just about to
Yeah.
say, talk about like kind a little bit because we were
Yeah.
under the impression if it's dirt, you got to exchange it for dirt. If it's a commercial building, you got to exchange it for a commercial building.
Exactly, because we're all visual beings, right? So we think that, well, if like kind means it has to look the same. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the way a property looks. It's how property is treated. Any property that's treated for business or investment purposes is like kind, which means you can sell raw land and buy a single family rental property. You can buy or sell a rental property and buy commercial, industrial. It's all like kind.
And what was incredible to me is you could also exchange that into natural gas and oil royalties, which
Yeah.
again, when you're thinking of like kind, that's something that you just don't even put in the same category.
Right, because you don't think it's real estate, but it is. It's a real property right. Oil and gas is mineral rights, right? Those are real property interests, so they're like kind in 1031 exchanges. So yeah, there's a lot of asset classes, and that's why people don't know their options because they don't know all these different types of asset classes that are out there in real estate that have different financial objectives.
And what's sad is most CPAs don't know either.
Oh no, I teach accredited courses for CPAs and attorneys. Yeah, trust me, they don't. They just tell them just go ahead and pay the tax, right? And so another thing is the primary residence, right? A lot of people would like to use a 1031 exchange to buy a primary residence. Well, even though it's not like kind because of personal use property, the IRS does have a safe harbor they've created, which allows you through a process to get into a property with a 1031 exchange into a primary residence. I mean, you have to wait 2 years. There's a little time period. We won't get into that on this video. We'll do it on another video. But you can use the 1031 exchange to buy like your dream home.
So there's legal loopholes.
Legal, not loopholes,
Okay.
revenue procedures
Okay. Okay.
that actually allows it and encourages it, even the safe harbor stuff, right? Or if somebody has an in-home office, right, that they claim depreciation on, well, you're going to, even though it's your primary residence, you're going to have to pay some taxes on it unless you do an exchange. People don't know this, right? They have that option to do that. 1031 is federal. So you can sell in California, buy anywhere else in the United States. You'll defer federal and state tax. A lot of people think California, you have to pay your tax no matter what, right? Not the case. 1031 is recognized by the state of California just like every other state. So you can reposition into those different types of assets. If you're thinking of relocating to, you want to move to Arizona, right? You're going to retire in Arizona because you love golf and you love 150 degrees, right? Fantastic. Yeah, it's a dry heat. Yeah. So it's my oven and I don't hang out there.
Okay.
So, but if you're thinking of leaving the state, right, 1031 allows you to do that, right? To reposition your assets with you. Retiring from real estate, baby boomers make up, they're only about 20% of the population, but they own over 40% of the real estate in the United States. Yeah, and they're sitting, a lot of baby boomers own single family rental properties. If you own single family rental properties and you're of retirement age, this is just from a financial analysis standpoint. You're in the wrong asset class. You own the wrong type of real estate. You should sell rental properties and exchange into like commercial triple net lease, DSTs, properties like that. And go
Because
passive.
there's a threshold where when you own a single family residence, at some point it's just not beneficial.
Well, especially as we get older in age,
Sure.
right? I don't tolerate things as much. I don't want to deal with the headaches of they call it the triple T's, right? In rental properties, toilets, tenants, and termites,
Yeah.
right? I don't want to deal with that anymore. So now I just want to go passive with my income. I don't want to get phone calls at night. I don't want to pay for a new roof, things like that, right? I don't have to worry about evicting people and not collecting income on my investment properties. So you can exchange into properties that go 100% passive, and you don't have to deal with all those headaches. They're exchangeable.
Even into syndications, where literally,
Yeah, similar. They have a similar feel to syndications. They're a true syndication. You can't exchange into it because you don't own the real estate. You're exchanging into stock,
got it.
right?
Okay.
Partnership interest. But it has the same feel though, exact same feel. So there's all kinds of different options that you can utilize the 1031 for to reposition your assets and to truly build long-term wealth, right? And then that all of those taxes are forgiven through the estate process.
So why would somebody not do a 1031 exchange?
Um, Two reasons. One is they don't have any taxable gain,
Okay.
right? Because you only have to have gain in the property, right?
Sure.
To defer. And the other one is because nobody's told them.
That's what I was
Yeah,
more thinking
yeah,
is most
yeah,
people just have no idea what you could do in a 1031 exchange. And they
exactly.
get nervous with the time frames.
Yeah, completely. We can talk about time frames in another video also that describes that. But yeah, the 1031 is much simpler than it sounds. It can be intimidating, but a 5-minute conversation with me, and we're going to take that intimidation factor away. And I'll just let everybody know their options, right? It's easy. It's the greatest wealth building tool in the entire Internal Revenue Code, but it's also like one of the most underused
I
revenue
agree.
codes, right? More people need to use the 1031 exchange.
Yes.
That's what it's for. It's fantastic.
So you're available for any sort of questions, picking your brain, scenarios, things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I also teach accredited courses for CPAs and attorneys, so I'm a free resource for the client's legal and tax advisors as well. But yeah, that's what I'm for. You can call my number anytime.
Well, I've already referred several people your way, and I'm looking forward to using your services myself.
Well, I love it. Thank you so much.